Thank you, Madam Speaker. I raise pursuant to Standing Order 58 to make a personal statement on my participation in the United Nations 53rd Human Rights Council session on menstrual health and gender discrimination. Madam Speaker, this is a personal statement, and if you can allow me, I think I have 15 minutes. Early in the month of May 14th, Madam Speaker, I was invited to participate in the United Nations 53rd Human Rights Council session in Geneva. And this was based on all the work that I have been doing in terms of the period poverty campaign. Madam Speaker, as our protocol is in Parliament, I submitted my documentation, my passports. I wrote a letter asking for facilitation of the same in Parliament. I was informed that it was impossible to be facilitated due to certain reasons, and therefore I went back to the people who invited me, and I told them that Parliament at this moment cannot facilitate certain logistical issues. And so therefore they agreed to pay for the trip and to facilitate everything, because they really wanted me as a panelist in this particular event, Madam Speaker. So I submitted my passport, Madam Speaker, and after 3.5, actually that was May, so the conference was July. It was on 6th July, as we were almost on the day of the conference and I was preparing for travel. I was following up on my visa with the relevant offices, and I was being informed that this issue is being handled at the embassy and everything is ongoing. And so therefore, because I have the confidence in the systems that are put in place, I actually was patient. On the day before I traveled, I was still following up on my visa issues, but I was informed, Madam Speaker, that the visa had not been given. Madam Speaker, it was very unfortunate later to find out, actually, on the night before I traveled, that my passport had actually not been submitted to the embassy. This is on record from both parties, and it got me thinking. When, on following up with the relevant offices, I found out that my passport was not submitted, no application was made, and actually, as it stood at that point, I was unable to travel to carry out my legislative agenda and advocacy agenda. Madam Speaker, this made me start reflecting on so many incidences that have been happening to me in Parliament. Because sometimes, you know, as a new legislator, we sometimes fault that maybe you don't understand how it is. So I have been letting go of a lot of challenges and crediting the fact that I'm a new legislator and perhaps I don't understand how things work. But Madam Speaker, after this particular event, I actually had a self-reflecting moment. And I took account of all the incidences where I have faced serious challenges in terms of my work as a legislator and a representative of the people. Madam Speaker, as you are aware, I have 5 bills, one of them being the Konza bill. I experienced serious challenges with relevant departments or in the processes of the bill, with certain issues just in the processes of pushing the bill so that it can come to fruition. Madam Speaker, I started reflecting on that and what it meant in terms of, is it an issue of me not understanding how things work, or is there actual clear deliberations of subverting my legislative agenda and other things? Madam Speaker, also recently, and this is in the public domain, there was issues on my office. Madam Speaker, I had been allocated an office without my consent, and the same premises was being run. Madam Speaker, I followed the proper channels to report the incidents. I followed all the advice that had been given, Madam Speaker, but it took serious interventions for something to be done, because the issue is that I was being impersonated, and my office, or rather there was someone running an office and impersonating me, claiming that that is my office.
Honorable Senator, I don't want to interject while you are doing the personal statement.
Yes.
But they sound like the nature of that personal statement is on administrative matters.
No, it's not, Madam Speaker. The nature of this personal statement is on the challenges that I am experiencing as a legislator, and I have been guided, Madam Speaker, to steer clear of mentioning names, to steer clear of, but just to give my challenges and explain the story, which is what I'm doing. And actually, under Standing Order 58, it is permitted. Madam Speaker.
I was only inquiring so that you could see whether, have you ventilated in
Madam Speaker, I have
platforms?
I have followed all processes in expressing my challenges or dissatisfaction of each and every matter that I mention here, to the extent that I have actually decided to now come under Standing Order 58 to give a personal statement. Madam Speaker, on the issue of impersonation of my office, I have taken the proper steps. I have reported it to the police. It is now a matter under investigation, Madam Speaker. And I actually went through certain offices to get the intervention of even bringing down the board that had my name. That was even an issue. After I had said, this is not my office, I had written an official letter saying this is not my office, it still appeared to be a challenge for the relevant offices to actually take action and bring down the board that had my name on it and actually take charge of that situation, Madam Speaker. That is why I went to the police station. Madam Speaker, I also want to just speak of two other incidents very quickly. One incident, aside from the passport, the relevant office not submitting my passport and, helping me facilitate the trip where I had been called as a legislator, aside from the issue on the bills and aside from the issue on the impersonation of my office, Madam Speaker, I have had several statements on the floor of the House where I am playing oversight, which is the role that I have as a legislator. And even once that particular committee has actually come and said that they have dealt with it, and which it was established that that was false information, Madam Speaker. I'm trying to give account of certain things that are happening with my legislative agenda and my work here. And Madam Speaker, I've come to the conclusion and that the challenges that I'm facing, they are not unique, Madam Speaker. The challenge, Madam Speaker, I ask because of your interjection, if you can add me 3 minutes, I can see the light has gone on. The challenges that I'm facing, Madam Speaker, after doing my personal research, I have found out that there are serious emissaries, agents, who are actually against this House, Madam Speaker, who are actually, when they observe that there is a certain legislator who is actually pushing for certain things, that they make sure that they divert the cause. Madam Speaker, I have suffered because of representing women. In various instances you have seen in the floor of the House, even if you look and check through the Hansard, you will see that during the impeachment case of Governor Kawira, certain issues that are raised, I have suffered. I have been punished because of defending the girl child and the woman. And as we speak right now, Madam Speaker, I have been blacklisted, and this is a fact, from any trips to represent this Senate or this country, Madam Speaker. And without pouring in emotion, Madam Speaker, and because I know I'm guided under this Standing Order 58, not to mention names, there are certain things that are so obvious that certain offices here in the Senate are actually directly targeting me as a legislator and ensuring that I'm unable to prosecute my work as a legislator in the Senate of Kenya, Madam Speaker. So on my personal statement, I just want to say this. All these issues that I am bringing here, some of them might not be unique to me. I know other legislators who might not have the courage, per se, to come and give personal statements and personal accounts that are dealing directly with individuals or offices who are actually operating as cartels in Senate. But Madam Speaker, I want to say that it is a serious issue, and I hope, and I don't know what Standing Order 58 says, but this is really my last attempt at getting the justice and being allowed to persecute my duties as a legislator, because there is an office in this Senate that has targeted me as a legislator, as Senator Gloria Orwoba, and the office holder is aware, and